This is the Candid podcast. Welcome back to the podcast to all of my returning listeners, and welcome to the podcast to anyone who may be tuning in for the first time. We're going to jump right into today's topic, which is weak men hating on Ilona Maher. Let's start out by talking about who Ilona Maher is. For all of you out there who don't know, Ilona Maher is a female American rugby player, and she competed in the Olympics in 2024 and brought home a bronze medal for the good old US of A. Ilona Maher is 5 foot 10 inches tall and almost 200 pounds. I believe they have her listed at 198, so pretty much 200 pounds. And Ilona Maher has been coming under fire by all of the glorious trolls online, mostly men, because of the way she looks. She definitely has broader shoulders, more of a square jaw for a woman. She's definitely broader and built like a rugby player. That's why she plays rugby. She has been literally brought to tears online by a lot of these weak men who are out there attacking her. I've seen at least one video on her Instagram where she is openly crying because of all of the people, again, weak men, who are talking about her, making fun of her, calling her trans, all of that kind of garbage. One thing I want to be very clear about is that I said in the beginning, female. She is a biological woman. This is not a trans woman competing in sports against biological women. She is a biological woman. She just doesn't necessarily fit the typical archetype of what men look for in a woman. So I guess all the weak, quote, men out there decided that they're going to just simply attack her for it. They have been calling Ilona Maher a man. They've been calling her trans. They talk about her build. They have been accusing her of using, I call it the juice, or illegal substances to achieve her build and strength. Funny thing about that is that there's way more gym bros, and maybe a few gym girls as well, out there using illegal substances than y'all may want to believe. I'm talking average, everyday, normal looking gym bros who have physiques that are not really that impressive are using illegal substances. And as I said, there's some gym girls who are using them as well, but mostly to cut. The gym bros are usually using them to bulk up. And you could never tell that they're on anything by looking at most of these guys. So even some gym bros don't have the ability to attain the kind of physique that Ilona Maher has. And those dudes are using juice. I'm just throwing that out there just so y'all know. I do not know if Ilona Maher is using those substances or not. I cannot confirm nor deny that. I don't know her personally. I don't know anything about what she does and doesn't do. So I can't confirm or deny that. And to me, it really doesn't matter whether she is or isn't. That's not really the point of all of this, but she's been accused of it. That's one of the things that these weak men out there are saying because they're weak and probably can't lift half of what she does. So let's just attack her and accuse her of using juice because you're too weak to be able to do it. She's just getting dragged because she doesn't look like the traditional female. She has square jaw, broad, square shoulders, and she's able to put on good muscle mass at 200 pounds. Rugby player, she's pretty bulky and muscular. And so she gets dragged because of that. Doesn't matter that she promotes female body positivity and embracing who you are. That's a lot of what Ilona Maher talks about. No matter what you look like as a woman, always remain feminine. Keep that aspect of you, whether you're big, tall, short, small, whatever, always remain feminine, which is what most of us traditional men are actually looking for from women. Last I remember, we want women to remain feminine. We don't want brutish acting females. We want them to remain feminine. Even though she may be in a brutish sport, she can still remain feminine. So she promotes that heavily. I've got no problem with that. I don't understand why anybody else would have a problem with that. It's what we've been looking for. She will go online and clap back at the trolls, again, mostly the male trolls who talk about her, post nasty things on her Instagram or socials and try to degrade her because of how she looks and how she's built. But I've never seen anything where Ilona Maher has said that women could beat men at rugby, put a female rugby team against a men's rugby team, and the females could win. She's never said anything like that. She's never said anything about women being better than men or women can do anything that men can do, but we can do it better. If she were saying those kinds of things, then I could see men having more of a problem with her if she was promoting that kind of rhetoric. We all know none of that is true. We have seen men's sports teams go against female sports teams, and it doesn't end well for the females. I want to say there was a 15 and under or 16 and under boys soccer team that went against pro women, and they destroyed them. It was not even close. These were boys who were 16 and under destroyed a pro women's soccer team. So we all know how that goes. If she were saying something along those lines that women could beat men at the same sport, then I would have more of an issue with her. But everything that I've seen out of her, she's just preaching female body positivity. No matter what you look like, how you're born, be feminine. I've got no issue with that. The problem is that us men, even when we get what we want, we're still not happy. And that's a big part of the issue here. We have a woman who is saying all the things that we want a woman to say, but yet we're still not happy. She has the traits mentally that we're looking for in a woman, and yet we're still not happy. Well, she doesn't look like a Barbie doll or an Only Fools model. So, let's just talk about her. Let's just dog her out, even though everything about her personality seems to be what we're looking for. You know, one of the things I find funny is that a lot of these weak men out here who are talking about her, there's at least two very, very famous guys out there that you follow, listen to, whatever you want to call it, that you weak men worship. And both of these guys, who I'm not even going to hint at, I'm not even going to drop their names, I'm not going to hint at who they are, they have teenage daughters, late stage teenage daughters, who literally look like their father with long hair. It literally looks like the dad put on a wig and said, I'm a woman now. Like, these young ladies look just like their father. And I bet none of you weak men would go up to these dudes and say something like that about their daughter. Because I guarantee you it would not end well for you. So that's one of the things I find funny. One of these gentleman in particular, a lot of you guys worship, and I'm not throwing hate at him at all. I just find it funny that he has a daughter that looks like him, and you wouldn't say this kind of stuff to his face. But Ilona Maher, we're going to drag her. It's called genetics, folks. Ilona Maher looks the way she does, mostly because of genetics. Again, people want to talk about the juice of the illegal substances. I can't confirm or deny that, but she, for the most part, was born looking this way. There's nothing that she can do about it. There are just some women who were born, they may look more like their father, or they may have features that aren't necessarily what a typical woman would look like. Broader shoulders, squarer jaw. What are they supposed to do? They're supposed to go out and get all kinds of cosmetic surgeries and all of that kind of garbage just to please us men. Then what happens? We'll be talking about her then. Oh, look at her. She went out and got all these surgeries. She got her nose done. She got her jaw done. She got implants. She got all these things. You'd be dragging her then. So that's what I was talking about in the beginning when I say the issue with us men a lot of times is even when we get what we want, we're still not happy. Because if she were to decide to go do those things, then we'd be making posts about her, or I should say y'all, because I'm not a weak man like y'all are. Y'all would be making posts about all the surgeries she got done. And look at what she had to do. She should have stayed how she was before. That would be what everybody's saying. She should have stayed how she was before. Well, before you didn't like her then. Us men sit here and we get mad when women judge us over things that are genetic. I just find that funny. Women judge men nowadays, especially over height. If you're not 6 foot tall, don't even bother. Hair loss / male pattern baldness, that's genetic. Your eye color, genetic. Your Johnson size, which a lot of men get judged on, it's genetic. Nothing that we can do about that. Can't control our height, can't control our hair loss, can't control our Johnson size. Eye color, I guess, if you wanted to go put in some contacts that changed your eye color in order to please some woman out there, you could, but I wouldn't do it. A strong man wouldn't do it. Only a weak man would do something like that. So none of those things we can control. Hell, even 6-pack abs. I don't know if many people understand how abs work. You either have a nice set of abs or you don't. Now, it can be covered by a whole big layer of blubber or fat, but you either have them or you don't. You can lose all that fat and either your abs are there or they're not. There are influencers out there getting ab implants, and these influencers are in incredible shape, and they're getting ab implants because they don't have them. It's one of those genetic things that either you have nice 6-pack abs or you don't. So we're getting judged on all of those things, and we cry about it and say that it's not fair. But yet here we are judging Ilona Maher because of her genetics and because she chooses to lift weights and be strong. Then if she was overweight, really out of shape, a BBW, whatever you want to call it, you'd be dogging her out because of that. But because she chooses to work out, stay in shape, do rugby, and she just happens to have a broader frame, we're going to talk about her because of that too. She's exactly the type of woman that we want in society as far as how she thinks and how she behaves. She is a woman who seems to have traditional values. She wants a man. She has come out and said explicitly that she is heterosexual and that she likes men. Everything that I've heard from her and read seems like she has a great personality. She has a great head on her shoulders. She's successful. She's looking for a dude. And from what I've seen, she's looking for a man who is definitely a leader type of man. This is what we've been asking for, man. We keep asking for women to go back to being more feminine. wanting men to be the leader in the household and women not being so brutish and rough. And outwardly, sure, her job or her profession is brutish. It's rugby, football, whatever you want to call it. But yet she's getting dragged, even though her personality is one of femininity. And it seems like there's some softness in there from her perspective. And that's good. We want women who have that softness still. And I think a lot of it is because of her build, because we look at female MMA fighters. They don't get dragged like Ilona Maher is. And MMA is even more brutal than rugby is. It's pretty rough. But I think it's because a lot of those women, I think all of the women actually compete under 145 pounds. I don't think there's a female MMA division higher than that. So a lot of those women still have what you would call a classic female physique. They still have that slender type of build. And so I think that they don't get dragged like Ilona Maher does, because Ilona Maher is 5'10" tall and basically 200 pounds. So she's getting dragged a lot more because of that. I don't necessarily even think it's the profession thing. From my perspective, you don't have to like her or be attracted to her. I'm not telling all men out here, you need to be attracted to her, you have to like her, you're weak. I have no issues with a man saying, look, she's not my type, but I'm not going to drag her. I'm not going to talk about her. I'm just going to go on about my business. She seems like a nice person with a great personality. She's just not my type. That's fine. I can't tell you what to like and not like. The issue that I have is that you're a grown ass man bullying a woman. You're a big, tough guy, quote, on the interwebs, bullying a woman for how she looks, something she can't even control. Doesn't matter that she's in shape. And I'm not saying that if she were out of shape, it would be okay to attack her. I'm not saying that. I don't want people to say that. But I could see people maybe having an issue more of like, man, you're 500 pounds, you need to lose weight. But she's 200 and she's jacked. So what? Get over it. She's in shape. She's doing something most of y'all weak men couldn't do. Out there playing a physical sport, tackling and getting tackled with no pads on. Most of y'all weak men can't take any kind of physical contact. You don't have to be attracted to her. But that doesn't mean you have to drag her either. Remember when moms used to say, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all? I think that applies here. If you don't have anything nice to say about her, just shut up. She's not my type. I'm going to move on. When I was doing some of the research on her and looking up, her Instagram, I came across a quote of hers. And this is what Ilona Maher said. She said, I've never really had somebody who's come to my rugby games, somebody who's really proud to see me shine and wants me to keep growing, someone who shows me off. What is the problem, fellas? What is the problem with that statement? I hear absolutely nothing wrong. That is, again, what most traditional men have been looking for. I don't want to say we want a woman to necessarily show off, but you can read into that statement that she's looking for a man to kind of be the leader, to take control, to be, this is my boo, take her out. That's my woman. Be at the games. Like, that's my girl. That's my woman right there. She wants a man who's going to be proud of her and who's going to celebrate her accomplishments, and a man who, again, I believe is going to be the man and take control. There's nothing in there that sounds feminist or anything like that to me. If she were along that whole feminist line of thinking, I don't need no man, men ain't no good, and I could do without a man, and all you women need to be with other women because all these men aren't any good, I would be more on the bandwagon of having a problem with her. I would not be dragging her on the internet and bringing the woman to tears, but I will admit I would have more of an issue with her message if she were saying that. That quote does not read like anything a feminist would say. A feminist would say, I don't care. I'm going to do what I want. I don't care about no man, and he's not going to show me off. That's what a feminist would say. What Ilona Maher said is what most traditional men want to hear from a woman. So I've got absolutely no problems with what she's saying. She wants a boyfriend, said she's never had one, wants a relationship. She was on Dancing with the Stars wearing a dress, lipstick. In her personal life, I see her always trying to be feminine, wearing lipstick and doing the things that normal women do. She's just not built like one. So what? You don't like it, move on. But I'm not going to sit here and drag this woman when everything about her personality, at least, is exactly what men are looking for society to come back to. Any man that talks about Ilona Maher, in my opinion, is gutless and weak. You're just weak. You're a bully. You're probably physically weak along with being mentally weak. You probably look at her as, damn, I can't even live what she's doing. So instead of trying to improve yourself and get better, we're just going to talk about her. It's weak. And I can't stand that kind of stuff. You're bullying a female. Not that bullying is ever okay, but I don't care what she looks like. She's still a female. You're bullying her. And somehow that makes you feel good about yourself. That is the weakest thing that you can do as a man. If she ever veers off into feminist territory or goes down the road of women being better than men and we can compete just as well as you all at the same sports and probably even beat men, I have no problem reversing my course, updating this podcast or doing a new podcast with an update and saying, okay, now I've got a problem with some of the things that Ilona Maher saying. But I've heard none of that. None of that at all. Nothing to make me feel like I should have a problem with anything she's doing. As I said before, even if I did, I wouldn't bully her. I may make a podcast to say I disagree, here are the reasons why, but I'm not going to go on her Instagram and make her cry like all you weak men are doing out there. It's disgusting. So from my standpoint, I rock with Ilona Maher. I got no issues with her. I hope she keeps doing what she's doing. I hope she keeps shining. I hope she finds the kind of man that she's looking for. If she ever wants to have kids, start a family, whatever it is down the road in her life, I got love for Ilona Maher. I rock with her and I wish her all the best of success. And to all you weak men out there, if you're going to hit her up and say anything to her, you probably might want to ask her if you can borrow a pair of her panties, because the ones that y'all dudes are out there wearing are in a huge bunch. You probably need a new pair. I'm going to leave this right there. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast as usual, everybody. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. It helps me out a lot. I want to continue to grow this channel and keep putting out what I hope is great content for you all out there. As always, I'll catch you on the next one.